I've had experience now on both the giving and receiving ends of hospice. I had two brothers who were very sick in the early 90s. They were terminally ill with AIDS, and they were only 42 and 36. It was really tough because our parents had died really young, and there were 12 of us all together.
How old were your parents when they died, and how did that happen?
My mom was 47, and she was killed in a car accident, and she was the mother of 12. It was pretty horrific. And our poor father was not a very healthy man, and so he really, he was devastated by my mom's death and overwhelmed with all the responsibility and just wasn't doing very well himself. So he really abdicated the responsibility to any family or friends who wanted to take care of the children, and he left. So we basically lost our mother, our father, our home, and our family within a couple of months. I was 21. My brothers got sick, and it was tough because, my parents were already gone. My older brother, Paul, and I were very, very close, and then my brother, Pat, who was the younger of the two, was very close with my sister below me. And so we sort of took care of them their last year, but then at the very end, and a lot to do because it was AIDS too, and it was the time, and I had two young daughters. My daughters were 8 and 10. I couldn't do the 24/7 care anymore because that's what they need. I mean, at the end, they just fail, and it's very hard and very sad. So my brother's doctor at Deaconess, Dr. David Scadden, wonderful man, he told us about hospice, and here I was a nurse, and I really didn't understand what hospice meant. He explained it and then said, and we actually have a hospice home, which I think would be appropriate for your family. And it was right there in Roxbury, and it was absolutely wonderful. It was the most beautiful place. It was a Mission Hill Hospice, and it was all for AIDS patients. My brother Paul was there for a month, and he passed in December, the end of December in '93. And our other brother was actually in the hospital at that time. And sure enough, 2 months later, he died. But he did get back, and came to the same hospice home, and he was there for 2 weeks. He didn't last as long there. But if you've had losses that are really traumatic or difficult in your younger life, when you lose somebody else, it just brings that all back. So it's what we call complicated loss and grief. And that's what we were all going through. We were just all stunned. And just very sad. It took me a long time to recover. When my brothers were sick in the hospice home, I was in awe of these nurses that took care of them. And I remember thinking at the time, how did they do this? I could never do this. But somehow a little seed was planted. 10 or 12 years later, I said, if I don't try this now, I'm not going to be able to do it. And I decided to give it a go, and I did, and I just loved it. It's so wonderful and rewarding to be able to help people. And I think we nurses often take away a lot more than we give. It's just like you need an obstetrician to bring a baby into the world. You need hospice, you really do. It's end-of-life care. It's very specialized. Pain management, symptom management is pretty complicated, and it's so wonderful to be able to go into a home and walk out and know that you made someone feel better.
This is Sue Scheibel, staff reporter for the Patriot Ledger. For more coverage, see today's edition of the Patriot Ledger or go to patriotledger.com.